We have the Mr. Olympia right here, Samir Bannout. And of course, we're going to talk about all this dancing that has been happening on stage. Ladies and gentlemen. Hello, athletes and fans of bodybuilding. Tarek Gindi with the Mr. Olympia. Today, Mr. Olympia, the Lion of Lebanon, Samir Bannout. Mr. Olympia, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you here, guys. And I'm happy to see my good old buddy, the uncrowned Mr. Olympia here, Sean Ray, and my good pal, John Hansen, who was just finished winning a competition. I told Sean, I said, John is making us look like a scoop of Haagen-Dazs nowadays.
John Hansen.
Congratulations, John.
Man of the hour.
Thank
Congrats,
you.
John.
Thanks, Samir.
Yeah, very nice. Well, Samir Bannout is a Mr. Olympia. He's got his sandal right there in the background. Nobody can take that away from him. He is in the history book as one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time.
Yes.
I'm also going to introduce Hall of Famer Sean Ray. He's the Arnold Classic champion, Ironman champion. He's a national champion. Sean, how are you?
I'm good, man. It's great to have Samir in the house because the year I started bodybuilding was the year that Samir became Mr. Olympia. And we're here full circle. How many years ago was that, Samir? 1983. How many years?
I forgot, man. That's
like 42.
42 years ago,
you know, bro. I have a habit of calling it the Jurassic period, you know?
It's been 42 years ago.
It's been
still
so
inspiring.
long. Yeah, man. I tell you what, it's a great memory. And I still recall when Sean Ray came in fresh from winning the national. And I'm like, looked at this guy and said, wow. I think we're going to have to work a little bit harder because this guy, he's coming in with vengeance. We better be careful.
There's a new kid. There's a new kid on the block, Samir. Go ahead, Tarek. I'll let you finish with our next guest.
I must say, despite the fact that we have a Mr. Olympia here with us, despite the fact that we have an Arnold Classic champion and an Ironman champion here with us, I think the man with the best physique today is none other than the great John Hansen. John Hansen is a natural Mr. Olympia, Mr. Universe natural champion. And just this past weekend, you just won the show in St. Petersburg, right?
Yeah, I won the Masters over 60.
Yeah. Well, John, congratulations.
Thank you.
Great victory. I must say, if you danced on stage, I wouldn't have invited you for this live.
Nobody wants to see me dance on stage or off.
The question is, what song would he be dancing to, Tarek?
Maybe those were the days, my friend.
Oh my God. Oh man. Well, guys, you don't know. I just saw the dancing and I had to comment on it, that these things really hurt. And I'll let you take over and ask specific, but this is bullshit, unacceptable. It hurts. It just, I'm still passionate. I love the sport, but when I see the monkey business develop before my eyes, it just really hurt me. It's like someone stabbing me or someone fucking punching me. I hate to see that. Because I love the sport.
No, I understand. I got literally hundreds and hundreds of messages, and I said, don't worry, guys. We're going to address. I'm going to bring in a Mr. Olympia to talk about it. Sean, I'm sure you have an opinion about it, and a lot of people want to hear about it.
Yeah, so, let's just turn it around. We know it's a bodybuilding contest, and what we expect is to see someone go out there and do some posing, correct? What if I showed up at a dance competition and I chose to pose? People would think I was a freaking, just like Samir, they would think I was an alien. They would think, what the hell am I looking at? I think entertainment is good. I wasn't entertained. He wasn't a good dancer. There was no real thought or effort. It looked like a guy that was kind of making a mockery out of what Melvin Anthony, King Kamali, Darren Charles, Russ Testo
Yeah.
had made a career on. I mean, they were entertainers and they were in demand around the world to go out, show their posing with some dance moves and do what they do. This was a lot of jumping. It wasn't dancing to me. I know what dancing's supposed to look like. But I'll tell you what I said on the last podcast with Bob Chick was, if you were that big and you did what he did for like a minute and a half, the way he did it, you probably have a heart attack. It's a lot of jumping around. It just looked like he wasn't. It didn't look like he was having fun. It didn't look professional. So I'm a little embarrassed. I was squinting, looking with my eye like this. I was trying to look away, but I couldn't. And I was just hoping that somewhere along the way, the Federation would put out something that said,
Yes.
this is not what we're looking for. This is not the direction we're going. Zero tolerance, full stop. And that's it. But us talking about it has a little bit more of a double meaning to it, because I certainly am not a hater. I love art. I love entertainment. I came up with the artistic side behind Muhammad, behind Samir, and some very great posers. That wasn't posing. And he's getting a lot more airtime than I want to give him, because what I really want to see is the Federation come out and say, guys, this is an example of what you're not going to do and what we're not going to tolerate. And if you do it, don't expect to come back.
Sean, I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think anybody needs to tell anybody that this is uncalled for, right? I don't think, I've been judging since 2006. And once in a while, there's an anomaly, somebody that tries to do something to get attention. And a lot of times we just have to ignore it. And I even talk to a lot of the YouTube channels. Do not publicize this. This is not doing you good. Okay, this is not good. And I think every competitor knows full well that this is just not conducive to bodybuilding. And I agree 100% with you. It makes a little bit of a mockery of our sport. In addition to that, you miss an opportunity to display your physique, to show your strengths, to show your attributes. And I think most competitors that send me hundreds of messages said, Tarek, I guarantee you, this will never happen with me. I just want to let you know. And I think competitors know full well that this is not what we expect. And to be honest, I'm not going to tell anybody not to do that. I don't need to tell people. If there's 100 people doing it, trust me, we'll take measures. But I think the competitors know full well they shouldn't be doing this. John Hanson, what's your...
Yeah, I totally agree with Sean. I mean, bodybuilding is all about creatively and artistically displaying your physique, and the posing is an integral part of what the sport is.
Opinion.
Can you guys hear me?
Ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I could hear you.
Yeah. I believe, body posing is an integral part of bodybuilding, and you're supposed to display your physique creatively and artistically, and it's getting to be a lost art in today's competition, and we need more people to lead the way and show how it should be done, like Sean did, like Lee Labrada did, Muhammad Makawe, and that's what we need more of. Some of these guys going out, I think he's just trying to get likes, he's trying to get attention, and he is making a mockery of the sport. I don't think he knows what bodybuilding really is.
Yeah, and I agree with all of you guys, and I was so happy to see a lot of competitors, a lot of guys that are in the Mr. Olympia saying, Tarek, you never have to worry about me. I will never, ever do something like this. I judge the men's physique competitor. The name of the men's physique competitor, his name is Sean T. He's a hell of a competitor. He's a great competitor. He plays second in Alabama. He missed his qualifying to go to the Masters Olympia in Japan by literally a few points. And I can honestly tell him as a friend, Sean, you have a great physique. The dancing that you do prior and the dancing that you do after takes away from your physique. You're not helping yourself in the bodybuilding business. Now, what you do on your social media platform, by all means, that's your social media. But the stage belongs to bodybuilding, and it belongs to all of us. Samir.
Yes, sir.
Anyways, that's my perspective. Do you guys want to add something?
Yeah, I do because like you have an interesting perspective to ignore it and hope that it goes away. I have a different perspective. I see videos coming out from the federation justifying certain athletes' placings. I've been on that stage where the judge has said, "Step back in line, gentlemen, spread apart, put your hands down at your side, put your feet closer together, give yourself some room." So if the judge can correct on stage in the moment, the judges should also be aware that what they're looking at is not going to give you your 15 minutes of fame. That guy should have never been able to finish that routine. The music should have stopped. The head judge should have said something at the mic, and the lights should have gone down if the guy was going to refuse to leave. It reminds me of someone streaking during a football game, right? You're watching a football game, you see some naked body run across, they tackle him and they harass him, they get him off the field. And then you know what you see on the highlight reel is the streaker trying to run across the dang thing instead of the game. This guy, while we can ignore him, is going viral. He's getting exactly what he wants because you let him finish his routine in the first place. There will be others, Tarek. And my point is, if you nip it in the bud, at least give these guys some boundaries, so that even you have athletes meetings sometimes before you take to the stage. When I get my number, when we gather before we go on stage, these athletes meet. There needs to be some reiteration of the rules, guys. You know, I don't want to be embarrassed on stage by being told where to stand and how to act and how to behave. I'm a grown man. But if you're going to do that, then you might as well also remind people, don't go up there with music that has a bunch of curse words and racial epithets.
Right.
Jumping around and not hitting bodybuilding poses is not going to be tolerated. If he knows he has to pose, then he's not going to go up there and dance because someone's reminding him. I don't know if he made that up on the spot or if that's how he rehearsed. But I think these athletes need to be reminded. You're giving a lot of athletes a lot more credit than they deserve. Someone will go out there and think it's cute and do it again.
In a way, Tyler, I want to say something regarding that. I think allowing this guy to do the full routine without objecting to him, in a way, I kind of agree with John. I mean, we need to make that guy, give him a lesson that you do this kind of crap, you're making fun of mockery of bodybuilding, and this is not acceptable. I know there's every now and then we have a bonehead that do these kind of things, but that should be also in the rule book, in the MPC, the IFBB. That should be in the rule book that you have to go and show your physique without doing crazy stuff. If you do, you'll be disqualified. I mean, look, we're looking at Francis Benfato. I mean, you know, there was one video comparing that guy next to Sean Ray, and you could go look at the comment, what I said. I mean, come on. This is a performing art. It's not a monkey business dancing contest. So
yeah, but
this is very unacceptable, Tyler. Really unacceptable.
In the age of social media, maybe more people will try it. I'm telling you right now, I've been judging since 2006. And yes, we've had anomalies before, and they quickly realized it wasn't acceptable. I know that the men's physique competitor was told, that's enough. That's enough. We couldn't hear it in the mic, but I know for a fact the head judge told them that's enough. So, we are highly trained to prevent anything that displays unsportsmanship like. Now, there's also common sense. We also take in accountability. There's never going to be in the rule book that you hey, don't touch your competitors, don't elbow your competitors. It's just a matter of sportsmanship, right? Make sure you display proper sportsmanship. We're not going to go and put item by item of how you should behave on stage. In the end of the day, when you go to a movie theater, right, they don't give you a liability and explain to you shouldn't be on your phone. You shouldn't be, you just know this by common sense. And I give a lot of credit because I think 99% of the competitors know full well the proper way to behave. And I think
I would agree with you, Tarek, but you also have to remember when you go to a movie theater, there is a kind reminder to silence your cell phones. The athletes need to be reminded before they get up there to perform. That's why when you have your athletes meeting, a reminder is not going to be a reprimand. It's going to be a reminder.
Yeah, and listen.
Sorry to cut you. I just want to say,
go ahead.
About it. Let's just think about it. I've been on a bodybuilding stage since 1974. I've never seen anything like that in my life. So when someone like this guy come along, I mean, honestly, I mean, I don't need to be, I don't want to say it in a derogatory way, but this guy should be stopped instantly, pulled out of the stage, because this is not acceptable. We don't want you to do it.
That's the point. That's the point, Samir, is he should have never been able to finish his routine, Tarek. That's
right.
I would agree on that. Yes, because it was total nonsense. Totally.
Yeah, if he's embarrassed in front of everybody, in front of the crowd and the other competitors, no one else is going to do that again.
Yeah, and I think we've come to a conclusion, right? And I wanted to address, because I got hundreds of messages. The sport of bodybuilding gives you the opportunity to go on stage and display your attributes, something that you've worked very hard for. You have a unique opportunity to make history. Samir Bannout, Sean Ray, Muhammad Makawi, Frank Zane, Arnold Schwarzenegger, some of the greats, they have, even right now, you watch a posing routine by Terrence Ruffin, and he makes history.
Right.
So you have that time for yourself, which we allow you as a bodybuilder, as a classic physique competitor, to go there and be a star, right? And be a star. Take full advantage of that. Hit your best poses, practice some music, display the artistic form of your body. And if you want to get attention for social media, the stage is not for that. The stage is for you to display your physique. That's the art of bodybuilding. It's been working since 1965. That's why the sport is growing exponentially. I count on every competitor to use common sense and display their best art. And if you want to know a great posing routine, I'm going to mention 2 posing routines, which are the best 2 posing routines I've ever seen in my life. The number one, and I know Sean Ray is going to be upset with me because he's a bitter, resentful man, is Muhammad Makawi. Muhammad Makawi is the greatest posing routine of all times. And the second best posing routine.
What year?
I think it was 1982.
Okay.
And the best is Sean Ray. Sean Ray, when was your posing routine with the purple?
Well, that was 91 in Orlando to Phil Collins in the Air Tonight when I wore purple.
Yeah, so those are my favorite 2 routines. Go check Sean Ray and Muhammad Makawi. They're the 2 best. If you do that on stage in about 20 years, my friend, I'll be quoting you.
You will be remembered. You will be remembered forever.
Derek, you made a great point, Derek, about
that this monkey business will be remembered forever too. Like the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Samir, I called every YouTube channel that I know, and I said, guys, you want to cover bodybuilding, you're gonna be my friend. You want to cover the sensationalism, you want to do that, you might not be my friend. And I have a lot of YouTube channels. We're friends. We have a great relationship. You want to cover bodybuilding, we're going to give you access. We're going to help you. We're going to bring you up. You want to cover this kind of business, we're not friends. We're not in the same business. John.
Well, you made a great point about social media. When Samir and Sean were doing their posing routines, we didn't have social media, but now we're watching their routines 30 years later, 40 years later. We're watching Muhammad Makawi. These guys today have a way to make history, to put themselves in the history books by doing a great routine. And we can be watching them 20 years from now, 30 years from now. There's more media outlets now. There's more opportunities to see your posing routine looked at by people around the world. And a lot of people are blowing it. They're not putting enough effort into their posing. They're not creatively, artistically, building up their posing routine and really doing it to music like Muhammad Makawi did, like all the other great legends of the sport, Lee Labrada, Sean. They're not doing that because they're just not putting the work in. And you've
Look
got,
at
You know,
Look at this, guys. Look at this.
I want to say something about Makawi. Makawi is a great poser by nature. Makawi prepared himself to the max. I love this routine, by the way, and I agree with you, Todd. I think Makawi did. Look at. Nothing. You can't. There's nothing. No mistake in the toes, in the feet, in the hand. Everything is perfect. Everything does meticulously perfect. And Makawi is a smart poser because he show his strengths. He hides his weaknesses. This is what makes him so special.
Right.
You know, Makawi, he will not do a back double bicep like straight up because he's smart. He doesn't show weaknesses. And he does hire a choreographer, okay? He did his prep with Vince Gironda at the time. I don't think you met Vince Gironda, but you know, he was just blocks away from where I am here now. And so he really did perform. It was total performing art, okay? And I mean, you could see, that's why it's incredible. Look at the hand. Everything is beautiful. And we're not talking about every development he have. We're talking about his greatness in performing. Look at nothing, no weakness, no mistake, no weaknesses in his performance. Nothing. Look at the feet. Look at. Nowadays they'll walk to do this pose, which is embarrassing. This is performing art at its best. And I totally agree with you, Ty, when you said that's one of the best posing performance, without a doubt. Because look at the hand, at the wrist, everything
Mm-hmm.
done meticulously perfect. Perfect.
And he waits
Look
for
at
music too. It's all timed perfectly to the music.
He's matching the music, the smile. His
Look
torso
at
is
that.
turning. His torso is turning.
And I do have to agree with you on Sean Ray, because
Sean Ray was great. I don't like to give Sean Ray compliments. It makes me cringe. But I'm
me
gonna.
neither. Listen, the truth must be told. You know, sometimes Sean and I clash at certain things, but we can never say that Sean was elegant on stage. He was elegant. He moved like he had fucking oil under his feet. He's like slide. So this is what bodybuilding is all about. This is nobody. He doesn't walk from one pose to pose. Right now, and you know what, Ty, I want to remind you, the past week, there was a lot of talk with Lee Haney talking about the motorcycle pose, the Harley positioning in the front.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. So sorry. Sean, what year was your best posing?
I actually like 99 at the Mariah Carey routine.
Mariah Carey, 1999. I just wanna show this.
But I also like 94 to the Dream Girls, because that's what I turned pro to in 1987. So I had two good routines I remember a lot. I like both of those.
Let's just take a look at this.
Look at that.
It will be the last time I show Sean Ray in this show.
But just to give you an idea of where my headspace was, Samir, to give you an idea of what I was thinking, like, we're all kind of copycats. All the things that we saw in Muhammad Makawi in 1984, it's subtly being manifested through my routine with Bob Paris, a little bit of Samir Panu, a little bit of John Brown, attitude. I was indoctrinated that the statement we make is going to be our routine, and connecting with the audience is going to be basically nailing the transitions and executing the poses and the synchronicity to the music. And so knowing all of that stuff going into a night show where you feel like you're trailing, this is the only place I feel like I could make up ground to be noticed, and this would be my signature. And so I took pride in doing this. So when I watch a guy jumping around on stage with no rhyme or reason, I do like Samir, I got offended because I worked so hard on this routine, which is 3 minutes and 35 seconds, I believe.
Now look at the facial expression, every move. I'm sure Sean practiced his ass off for this.
I did.
It just come out like this. But I mean, look, I'm sorry, but I have to say, I don't want to be negative. I never saw Dorian Nace or Ron Coleman or Jay Cutler, all the friends, all the people, all the other great that we know. Nobody really took the time like Sean Ray or Makawi or Labrada, where they display the art. And really, this is what the kids should be aiming for. This is what the kids should learn from. They should apply the art. This is a performing art at its best. Look how beautiful. This is why I say Sean should have been Mr. Olympia. Okay? Because at time he was next to Dorian Nace, but you know what? They were both in great shape. But what Sean had the edge on the performance too. I mean, come on. This is why I say things, and I don't mean it to be rude or negative toward anyone, but the truth must be told. Look at that. Look at the toes. He's not sitting on his leg. He's just like an eagle. He's doing a great job. I'm telling you.
Thank you.
No, Ron Coleman, the great Ron Coleman, the one we love, we wish him well, never posed like this. Cutler never did. Nobody really. Just very few people show that kind of mastery.
Well, yeah, I was told going into bodybuilding when I was a teenager that most people won't necessarily remember how you placed in a contest, but they'll remember how you made them feel. And that didn't come really into crystal clear for me until I retired from bodybuilding. And I looked back because I'm not embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed by that routine, which was done in 1999, over 25 years ago. I'm proud of that routine because I remember the whole time I was doing that routine, in my mind, I had it indoctrinated that I got to make them feel me. I have to connect to the music, and I got to make it look easy, almost as if I'm just out there, like Samir said, just on an ice skating rink performing for myself. And I'm proud to look back at it, whereas most of these guys I'm embarrassed to watch.
You did, and you surpassed John Brown too.
Guys, I wanna show a recent bodybuilder because a lot of people are gonna say, well, these are some of the old performances. No, Terrence Ruffin is right now one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time. Take a look at this.
Yeah, he's real quick to let you know that he studied from the old school guys, and that's where he got his ideas.
Yes. One point I like to make. Terrence is a great poser without a doubt, and he moved gracefully. But also we have to remember, when you do your posing, you always show strength and you hide your weaknesses. Some of the poses may not apply to you because of certain lagging body part, okay? So I'm not criticizing him in a negative way. I mean, the guy's been winning contests, amazing. But then again, for example, let's go back to Chris Dickerson. Like Chris Dickerson never had a great arm. He had an okay arm. And he never really did a lot of arm poses. He had a side triceps and, he did quite a bit of different poses. But anytime you have a weak body part, you will not show it. That's why Arnold Schwarzenegger was also a great poser, because look at his photo. Arnold, not one photo of Arnold that looks bad or awkward. Why? Same thing I was talking about Makawi. Makawi never hit a double bicep from the back. Why? Because his back is not 100% going to really let the crowd go crazy. So you got to also understand what's fit for you. Fortunately, Sean Ray, he had that roundness all around. When you have a great arm, you could do so much with them. Like even Serge Nobret, he did poses where he doesn't display certain weak body parts. So
this is
Terrence is wonderful.
I want to say something else about Terrence Ruffin. I have done a seminar in Europe, Terrence Ruffin, where the promoter, Alina Popa, she's the promoter of the Olympia Eastern Amateur, Eastern Europe, and she's the promoter of Romania Muscle Fest. She paid Terrence Ruffin to do a posing seminar at check-ins, and the place was packed. So the fact that he's a great poser has allowed him to make more money financially because promoters are bringing him in to teach posing to the other competitors.
That's great.
I understand. Social media is a big deal right now. I agree 100% with John Hansen. But again, I'm going to go back to, you have an opportunity to be Mohammed Makawi. You have an opportunity to be Sean Ray. You have an opportunity to compete against Terrence Ruffin. I would love to have somebody going against Terrence Ruffin so we could discuss here who's the best poser, Terrence Ruffin or this guy. So you have an opportunity to be appreciated by all of us. I hope that puts an end to the topic and we can move on with great posing and less dancing.
100%. I'm 100% on the same page with you guys. I'm glad we talked about this topic here, because really we have to make sure that posing is a performing art and it's not a monkey business.
Yeah.
Seriously. We want bodybuilding to be better. We love this game.
Yes.
I know Sean does. I know Jean does. I know you do too, Tarek. And so, you're part of it. We want to do our best to make the sport respected by the whole world. We love this game.
Listen, I'm going to say that bodybuilding, if you look at the numbers, right, obviously the bodybuilding is growing exponentially, right? We have the inception of new categories, the female categories and the male categories. I'm going to defend men's physique for the rest of my life. I'm going to defend classic. I'm going to defend bodybuilding. There's more money in bodybuilding now than ever before. Yes. And I personally want to talk to you guys about another controversial issue that bugs Sean Ray, and that's why I'm bringing it up. Today on social media, I saw that a lot of people are happy about some of these mass monsters, right? In every generation of our sport, we've had the mass monsters, right? I remember looking at magazines and looking at Paul Dillette. Paul Dillette was not the greatest poser. Paul Dillette was not as good as Sean Ray as a bodybuilder. He didn't win as many titles, didn't place as well as Sean Ray or Flex Wheeler. But Paul Dillette had a following. He was a charismatic figure. People liked it. Nowadays, we have other mass monsters. Nick Walker is a mass monster. People love Nick Walker. People now love Rubiel Mosquera. He speaks Spanish. He's bringing a lot of his Spanish community in loving him. We had Marcos Rule. He was a big mass monster.
Marcos Rule.
Sean, you were not a mass monster. You were an aesthetically pleasing guy. But do you recognize the importance of different body types of mass monsters and what they bring to the sport?
Yeah, you need to have those variances because there's going to be people that listen, Dorian had a humongous following. JP Fuchs had a huge following. Mike Matarazzo, Paul DeMeo before he passed unceremoniously, Dallas McCarver. There's room for you to find what you like and what you enjoy. I don't knock the mass monsters. What I don't like is the guy getting over rewarded simply because he's big. Because like Samir, bodybuilding is more than just size. So I don't like it when it's a lopsided affair where the guy's winning because he's so big as opposed to the smaller guy like a McAway or a Ruffin who are a little bit on the lighter side, but more complete, more professional, more balanced, have more attributes that are in the positive column than just bulky, chunky mass for the sake of mass. So it's a fine line, but I'm an artist. So I look at more than mass. You have to have a little combination of both. And I came up behind Chris Dickerson and McCauley and Bannout. So that was the standard. Those were the yardsticks. And then, of course, Lee Haney changed the game. Dorian supersized it. Ronnie Coleman blew it out of the water. And then Big Ramy, listen, he's not the beautiful physique that we saw back in the 80s and 90s. Big Ramy wasn't. He was big, got those big quads, overdeveloped deltoids, a lot of imperfections. Wasn't the best poser. We're getting closer with the current Mr. Olympia, Samson Dowda. Big, symmetrical, he can pose. He needs work on his posing, but right now he's one of the number one posers in open bodybuilding, and he would never have stood a chance in the 80s and 90s with all the guys we had putting an emphasis on their posing. So we don't want to over-reward size too much and get away from the beauty and the art, because there's a lot of artists out there.
I want to go to John. Just one quick. John, You've been
I lost you for a second. I wonder what's happened.
I lost him too. You're
Can you
frozen.
guys hear me right now? Can
Yeah,
you guys?
yeah, you froze up a second.
Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah.
John, you've been bodybuilding for a long time, and you are one of the greatest historians of bodybuilding. I think after we lost the great Peter McGov, I consider you the greatest historian of our sport. What do you think about the importance of different body shapes and some of these mass monsters? I mean, it comes to mind Akin Albrecht, right? Sonny Schmidt. Some of these guys, we've had legendary mass monsters. Lou Ferrigno was one of them. What's the importance of these great mass monsters for the popularity of the sport?
Well, everybody gets into bodybuilding to get bigger. So, you know, we always are, the mass monsters are always appealing to everybody because everybody wants to get big. And when we see guys that are really, really big, you know, it's going to always have its appeal. But, you know, I agree with Sean. It's a combination of many things that makes a great bodybuilder. I was always taught it was size, shape, symmetry, proportion, and definition. It was those 5 things. And that's what made a great bodybuilder. It wasn't just one thing. It was the combination of all. But I can understand the appeal of the mass monsters, like I said, because people are freaked out about that, and everybody gets into bodybuilding to get bigger. So, you know, those guys are always going to be popular, whatever era they're in. You know, and there have been big guys in every era of bodybuilding, going all the way back to the 60s, of course.
Samir.
Well, let me call it in short. Mass was class. That's very easy to say it. We don't mind you being 280 pounds. I don't mind body like, let's say, Nick Walker. What I mind is you have to show class when you're on stage. And yes, I would like to see a tight midsection. I would like to see a pretty body along with the mass. I don't care if you get to 300 pounds. I mean, look at, we're talking about, we have quite a bit of big guys. I mean, you were talking about Paul Dillett, for example.
Yeah.
Paul Dillett, he didn't present his body good enough, but he was a mass monster, but he was put together right. I mean, look at I actually commented on Paul Dillett today. He was standing next to everyone, and everybody looked tiny next to him, but he had calves, chiseled, 24K quality. He was missing a little bit of a presentation. He could have done better with presentation. Now, who do we have? Who do we have that is super massive right now?
Rubio.
We talk about
Rubiel
Mosquera. But let me remind you guys that Rubiel Mosquera, a.k.a. Nexzilla, he did not place well. He did not place well until he improved his conditioning. He did not have the condition. So just mass was not rewarded. Mass by itself was not rewarded. He had to come in more conditioned. And listen, I'm going to give him credit too, because if you look at his posing, he's trying to minimize his waist. Go ahead, Samir.
It's true. I saw, you know, the gentleman again, Rubio. I thought he really brought in a great condition. But the more he can pay attention to his overall balance, I mean, I know people want to see massive guys. I mean, for example, let me just say something really quick about Samson. Now, though Samson is massive, Samson got shoulders to waist ratios, unbelievable. He's missing nothing. So what do we, for me personally, I love the way his body put together. But what is he lagging yet? I would like to see Samson, you know, let's say I would give him 21 karat gold. I want him to go to 24K. If Samson get that quality, it's going to be very difficult for anyone to really touch him.
Yeah.
So seriously, right, Sean? You agree?
Yeah. It's conditioning, and a guy that big, conditioning is hard to get.
Yeah.
Now,
Well,
guys,
you know,
I want to show a picture here. I'm going to tell you this. I appreciate the fact that Rubiel Mosquera, okay, a.k.a. Nexzilla, with his huge legs, is trying to create an angle here. He's trying to create an angle to minimize his waist. I got to give him credit. What do you guys think? I mean, he's He's
honestly,
trying.
look, I can tell this guy worked hard. I can tell that he tried to bring that conditioning. But I mean, genetically, by God, he was like put together. To me, I give him credit for the conditioning, for trying hard, for posing his best. But, to me, some more adjustment could be needed. I mean, I'd love to see a prettier kind of body, even though.
Do you think, Samir, if he grew, he's got huge legs, right? I mean, nobody's going to dispute that. It looks
Beyond
like
huge.
he came
Beyond
walking
huge.
from Colombia to Los Angeles with those legs.
Amazing. The size is unbelievable.
And I
freakish.
looked at his physique and I said to myself, he doesn't have a small waist, but if Rubiel Mosquera grows a back on him, that's going to make his waist look smaller. I'm not saying his waist is small, but if he grows a back here and he has those huge legs, naturally, he's going to minimize his waist by creating a neck shape. Sean Ray, do you agree or disagree with me?
Well, when you're a professional bodybuilder, I mean, you never hit that perfection until you have that Sandown. As good as Samir was, he wasn't great until he won the Olympia. And Gary Stridham, for what it's worth, was a phenomenal bodybuilder from the back, or from the front, but his back never showed up. His back never showed up. Paul Dillette was a great bodybuilder from the front, but his back never showed up. I mean, this is a promise right now that hasn't been kept. Rubio is young. He's got some miles to go. But some guys just don't get it. Tom Platz was all legs. Without his legs, we're not talking about him. Period.
Right. Yes.
Right.
So Rubio may be exactly what he is. He's the modern day Victor Richards. And we know Victor because he put so much mass on. He didn't have to win shows to be phenomenal. He was Mr. Big. He had a Weider contract. He wasn't even a pro bodybuilder. So there's a place for Rubio. I don't know that it's in the winner's circle, but if I'm him, I continue on the course he's on because there's a market for him in the universe called bodybuilding, regardless of whether he wins or loses.
Right.
Yes, I agree. I mean, he's impressive. I mean, we said tons of muscle. The kid's gonna like to see muscle, but will he be an Olympia favorite? To be honest with you, it's going to be a tough time. Why? Because what Sean says,
guys, with the people we have right now, I mean, who are the favorites, right? I mean, I always take a look at the placings of last year. Samson Dauda is massive with a small waist.
Yes.
And, he's aesthetic and he's massive. Can he improve his conditioning? But he's a formidable Mr. Olympia, okay? You look at Hadi Chupin, he's one of the most consistent bodybuilders with conditioning. I mean, we talk a lot about, this guy should have been conditioned, that guy should have been conditioned. This is one bodybuilder that's always conditioned. And then you bring into the table Derek Lunsford, right? Incredible back, dense, massive, with very good condition. He's a Mr. Olympia. And I'm also going to put in there Nick Walker. Nick Walker, what he showed in Pittsburgh was so impressive. I was very impressed with Nick Walker, his conditioning, his back double biceps. Does he have an aesthetically pleasing physique like Samson? No, he doesn't. But boy, that guy has some of the best side chest I've ever seen in my life.
Don't tell that to Sean and Bob Chacarello. They're gonna immediately disagree with you.
Those that's not true. That's not true. That's not true.
I defended Nick Walker.
No. That's not true. I'm on video when he won the Arnold Classic saying that this guy's a top 3 Olympian. Just because you have potential doesn't necessarily mean you actually realize it. And that's the struggle, because we've seen flashes of brilliance from this kid, but we've also seen a lot of inconsistency from him. It's up to him. He controls his future, not me or Bob. And when we're talking about the Mr. Olympia, and I've said this a million times, sometimes the stage is too big for your expectations. I mean, Samir, as great as you were for as long as you were, you nailed it one time. That's all it took for you to become great, but you couldn't replicate it. Neither could Dickerson, neither could Roden, neither could a lot of one-off Mr. Olympia champions. And it's because of the depth of field the gravity of what you're doing as the responsibility. Once you win the Olympia, I guarantee you, Samir, you can speak authoritatively. Your life changed when you won that Olympia, and you were in demand all over the world. You were pulled in 20 different directions. You had to do things that you didn't even think that were ever existed as Mr. Olympia. So to repeat is very hard to do. Samson's back is against the wall. Nick is very hungry. The title is within reach, but we also know that Nick missed an Olympia because he had mind issues. His head wasn't Terrence Ruffin, or not Terrence Ruffin, but the other kid from the 212. 212
Keon Pearson.
Keon Pearson skipped the Olympia because his mind wasn't right.
Mm-hmm.
That Olympia does things to you mentally that your body can do in its sleep. So Nick has all the tools, but the stars have to align for him.
I have a question for all of you guys. I'm going to start here with John Hansen. By the way, guys, if you have not noticed, John Hansen, who's 60 years old, he's got a pan as the background. He's got a pan. He just cooked a steak and eggs. Or
eggs.
What did you cook in your hotel room? Please tell me you did not cook a tilapia, John.
No, it was egg whites. Egg whites
this
and one
guy's
egg.
serious.
No, John, are you still competing? You're trying to go to the Masters Olympia?
Well, I'm in Teaneck, New Jersey right now. I'm competing in the NPC universe in a couple more days. So
okay. And
I can tell you,
John, you're an inspiration for all of us guys. 60 years old. I think you're older than 60, right? How
62,
old are you?
62.
62 years old. He just earned his qualification. He won the overall Masters 60, and now he's going for his pro card. And I know John Hansen, if he wins his pro card, he's going to try to be at the Masters Olympia. And I know him full well. He is going to challenge Samir Bannout and Sean Ray for a comeback, and Samir and Sean will be scared to go on stage with him.
John Hansen is the modern-day Albert Beckles, Vince Taylor, Robbie Robinson, Tony Pearson. I mean, you're the engine that could, man. You just keep going and going.
I have a question. What do you guys think about Gudavito? Is Gudavito better, has more potential than Nick Walker? Because some people were telling me, Tarek, I like Gudavito better than Nick Walker. And I said, hold your horses. Hold your horses. What do you guys think of Vitaly Gudavito? I'll start with you.
He's phenomenal, but he doesn't have the back that Nick Walker has. And we know, Samir, that these big contests are won from the rear. And that's where Gudavito has a little bit more work to do. And Nick Walker has it over him. Remember, Nick Walker is an Arnold Classic champion, 3-time New York Pro winner. This kid is the real deal. I think Gudavito has a little bit more ways to go, especially from the rear.
Samir, what do you think about him?
I mean, I like his flow, to be honest. I mean, I haven't seen him live like I saw Nick Walker and everyone else. But looking at his body, his flow is great. I just like to see it putting his feet a little bit closer together. You know what? Listen, Nick Walker, who is really making huge changes for the better. I was not a big fan, and John Hansen would know. We didn't think Nick Walker was really that great that back 4 years ago. But all of a sudden, he's climbing. He's climbing. You know what? Everybody liked the way all the changes that he made. Now, it would be hard for me to really say much unless I see a good Vito next to Nick Walker. Yeah, like Sean said, Nick Walker back is a bat to the bone. Yeah. Now, I don't condone, we have to see them both on stage, but I do like the big, good Vito's flow. He's pretty symmetrical for a big guy. He needs to pose a little bit more. He needs to mature up. I think he's a young kid.
And let me tell you something, guys. There is only one place where you are going to see Nick Walker, where you're going to see Rubiel Mosquera, and you're going to see Vitaly Gudavito on stage, and that is in the 2025 Mr. Olympia. Talk about mass monsters. I'm going to call owner Jake Wood and say, Jake, you need to put some extra protection on that stage Because
Yes.
if there's a call out with Rubiel Mosquera, Nick Walker, and Vitaly Gudavito, the stage might collapse. Get your tickets right now for the Olympia. If you're not there, you're going to regret for the rest of your life. But you still have an opportunity to get the pay-per-view. John Hansen, can Vitaly Gudavito be better than Nick Walker?
Well, in that pose you just posted, I mean, he's got nice symmetry. I mean, the downside of Nick, or his downfall, is that he's got that straight up and down body, the short legs, longer torso. And I agree with Samir. I mean, Gudavito here has really good symmetry. We just haven't seen enough of him. He's got to compete more against these big names. He had to drop out of that earlier this year. But he's definitely got potential,
Yeah.
Lots
Guys,
of potential.
I had fans, and I want to be honorable to the fans. Some fans came in and said, Tarek, you're going to have Samir Bannout there. Ask him about his back routine. So I know we're going on a different tangent here, but I asked questions, and people say, I want to know Samir Bannout's back routine. Samir, what was your back routine in terms of going to the gym and working out? What did you do?
Well, Sean Ray stole my back routine. Look at his back. His back was bad to the bone, too. It's funny. It's funny. Sean
never had a great back, Samir.
I want to take notes.
Sean used to put my back photo on his refrigerator before he go to the gym.
I did, yes. Samir, you had you arguably had one of the best backs in history. I was really shocked when I found out how small you were. So
you know what? Listen, I really think you're right. You said it earlier. Mr. Olympia competition won from the back. And I can tell you this right now. My back contributed to winning the Olympia in 83 without a doubt. And even in 82, my back was, when I hit those Christmas poses, when I first started hitting them, even Arnold came to me and said, Samir, I love your back poses. I want to use this in my book. I said, Arnold, I'm honored. Could you forward my book? Mr. says, it's done. So, what I did for back, Tarek, is I trained honestly by how I felt. I did heavy under control, okay? And when I tell people, some people would laugh at, I never did the same routine twice. I came to the gym at time and I could do heavy bend over row, strict. When I say strict, no cheating, no bullshit. I do bent over row with heavy weight, not to showing off, without showing off. Honest to God, I got to use extremely heavy weight and people wouldn't believe it. I wish I have the video to show it. The thing is, I thought that when you do wide grip, chin up, close grip, chin up, reverse grip, bend over row, I've done routine that is kind of strange, but it was heavy. It was done with vengeance type of training. And not one workout, I didn't feel my back exploding. So let's say I'm going to give you one back routine.
My question to you is this. So based on what you're saying, you went high intensity. You're inspired by Arthur Jones, Mike Menzer.
Not necessarily, but I was a good friend with Mike Menzer, and I believe in doing high intensity, shorter duration, and not necessarily like what Dorian. I mean, Dorian will tell you he'll go to the gym, he'll do 3 sets, and it's done. No, I saw Casey Viator and Mike Menzer, and I trained with him many times, and the workout was, yes, like Dorian was doing, but I prefer to do at least 4, let's say for my back, I will do 4 exercises. Let's say bend over row, chin up with weight, close grip, chin up, and I do either T-bar row or seated pulley. But I really did train heavy with intensity. What matters is intensity. It's not always the weight. You got to apply the intensity and get the maximum pump. And so that was my style. And seriously, don't laugh at this. I don't count set and reps. I don't. There's no such a rule. I follow Samir rule, which is kill your back. Kill your back. How do I kill my back? I do all the above. Chin up or reverse pull down, bend over row, T-bar row, seated pulley, So I changed things around almost in all my exercises, Tarek. But the main goal was to get the maximum pump. And I honestly got pumped every single time to the max. So that's the key. The key to variety. Variety is the spice of life. You hit your back from all angles, then you have a complete development. So
Beautiful.
It's really not by luck. It's not by luck. It's hard work. It's smart work. And it's like you have to do the engineering right. Okay?
Yeah.
You have to. And I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'm not just saying, oh, look at Sean Ray's back in some poses. I mean, I'll tell you what. I saw a video, Sean and Dorian recently, but you know what? Sean's back became really good. You know why? Because he trained like a warrior. For example, look at Sean during that time when you felt like he was one of the best posers. Look at the back. You see the upper, the middle, the lower. He developed everything properly. And so he was within striking distance from winning the Olympia. And in fact, he should have won the Olympia by virtue of a complete body and presentation. No disrespect from Dorian Yates. At one time, I saw Dorian competing. He was at torn biceps. And Sean Ray had the arm. He had the posing. He had the quality. So, I mean, the shadow is incredible. But at times, you have to take into account if someone is injured and you compete against someone who is, let's say, okay, when Dorian Yates tore his both arm, then he was doing a double bicep next to Sean Ray and Nasser Al-Sambadi. You cannot win a Mr. Olympia with injury like that. You can't.
But I think the best year, the year that Sean really challenged Dorian was 1994, right? But a lot of people have controversial as 1997 when Dorian Yates had torn his left bicep and he defeated Nasser El-Sambadi. But, I agree with you. Sean Ray in 1994, he was very, very close to the title. And, that doesn't take away from a great career that Sean Ray has. In my opinion, Sean Ray is, despite the fact that he didn't win a Mr. Olympia, one of the 10 greatest bodybuilders of all times. And he's a Hall of Famer. He likes to mention that every time we have a live with Chris Cormier. Because Chris Cormier is not in the Hall of Fame of bodybuilding.
Yes.
So he likes to rub it in against Chris Cormier, who's also one of my friends. But I want to, guys, we need to finish the live because I can see John Hansen starting to hold water. John, you got to do some cardio. You got to do some cardio.
I'm holding water. Look, I'm holding water.
Do not go to bed without doing some cardio. I want to finish it up here. John, great job this past weekend. We're all rooting for you. Go in there and kick some butt. But once again, if you dance on stage, this will be the last participation you have on Olympia TV.
That'll never happen, Derek.
Don't you dare do that, John. Don't you dare do that.
I want to thank my co-host, Sean Ray. Sean Ray, who's sponsored by Mutant. Are we going to have a beautiful booth at the Olympia by Mutant, Sean?
100%. I will be representing with the other mutants. We'll be there in full force.
So, Sean Ray, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to go to your booth, the Mutant booth, and I'm going to beat you down on that challenge of holding the bags.
Bring your stopwatch.
You and I are going to be next to each other, and I'm going to take you down. It's going to be so bad that they're going to take your name out of the Hall of Fame.
This will be great. We're going to do it in tank tops, so be ready.
Mutant, one of our big sponsors of the Mr. Olympia. I want to thank here the 1983 Mr. Olympia, the Lion of Lebanon, one of the greatest physiques of all times, one of the greatest backs of all times, and one of the most beloved people in the industry, the one and only Samir Bannout. Samir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be around good people that love the game, to want to see the game doing great. And so I'm always here, guys. Whenever you want me, I'm ready for any topic. And good luck to my buddy Jean tomorrow. What day after tomorrow, right?
Good
Saturday,
luck,
yeah.
John. Good luck. My name is
Let's go, Jean. Let's go, Jean. Come on.
Let's go, John. My name is Tarek Ogindi with the Mr. Olympia. I want you to go right now to www.olympiaproductions.com. Get your tickets right now because this is your chance to be part of history.